Humanity always claims it is moving toward progress. But when we read history, one question rises on its own. Is mankind really progressing? Or only its weapons? Asterisk, asterisk. Throughout history, there have been wars. Wars where humans were not only wounded, but humanity was buried. Children were orphaned. Cities vanished. Civilizations turned to ashes. But hatred survived. Today, we will hear the stories of those wars. Wars whose names still make hearts tremble. Hashtag Crossed Swords War Number 1. World War II, 1939 to 1945. This was the most deadly war in human history. It began when Germany's powerful leader Adolf Hitler invaded Poland. Within years, the war spread from Europe to asterisk Asia, asterisk Africa, asterisk the Pacific, asterisk and eventually the whole world. Hashtag warning the Holocaust, the darkest chapter of humanity. The Nazi regime imprisoned millions of Jews in concentration camps, killed them in gas chambers, and showed the world what happens when power becomes greater than humanity. Hashtag airplane. When did the war shift? In 1941, Japan attacked America, the Pearl Harbor attack. This moment changed everything, and the United States entered the war with full force. Hashtag radioactive nuclear bombs, humanity's final scream. 1945, the U.S. dropped atomic bombs on 2 Japanese cities, asterisk Hiroshima, asterisk Nagasaki. In just seconds, entire cities vanished. Hashtag checkered flag ending. Heavy checkmark. Around 70 million people died. Heavy checkmark. The United Nations was formed. Heavy checkmark. The world split into 2 major power blocks. The Cold War began. Hashtag Crossed Swords War Number 2. The Vietnam War, 1955 to 1975. This was not just a war. It was a struggle of freedom against power. Vietnam was divided into 2. Asterisk North, asterisk Communist. Asterisk South, asterisk backed by the United States. America believed Vietnam was small and easy to defeat. But Vietnamese guerrilla fighters changed history. Hashtag Evergreen Tree. A war in the jungles. This was a war where the enemy was invisible. No army formations, only surprise attacks and survival. Why was this war terrifying? Heavy checkmark. Napalm bomb, fire that sticks to human flesh. Heavy checkmark. Agent Orange, a chemical that destroyed crops, nature, and generations of humans. Heavy checkmark. Villages, schools, and even children were targeted. Hashtag checkered flag ending. The U.S. eventually withdrew and lost the war. Huge destruction and nothing gained. Hashtag Crossed Swords War Number 3. Indo-Pakistan War of 1971. This was not merely a conflict between 2 nations. It was the breakup of a country, the scattering of families, and the result of political failure. In East Pakistan, political and ethnic tensions increased. The situation worsened until war became unavoidable. Hashtag Crossed Swords India's intervention. India directly entered the war, and as a result, heavy checkmark Bangladesh was created. Heavy checkmark Pakistan lost its eastern territory. Heavy checkmark millions became refugees and families were separated. Hashtag white flag. What did this war teach? That nations are not built with weapons, but with justice and unity. Hashtag Crossed Swords War Number 4. The Gulf War, 1990 to 1991. This war began when Iraq's President Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait. The world did not accept this aggression, and a coalition of 35 countries led by the U.S. entered the battlefield. Hashtag movie camera. The first televised war. This was the first war broadcast live. For the first time, the world didn't just watch war. They watched technology fight.
Coche caractère gras Smack missile.
Heavy checkmark night vision cameras. Heavy checkmark jet fighters. Heavy checkmark advanced tanks. Hashtag checkered flag ending. Iraq retreated, but the Middle East became a permanent political battleground.
Raute gekreuzte Schwerter Stern war Raute 5, Sri Lankan Civil War 1983 bis 2009 Stern.
This was not a war between two countries. It was a nation fighting itself. On one side was the Sri Lankan government, and on the other, Tamil Tigers LTT. Hashtag collision. What made them different? They were the world's first suicide bombers. Heavy checkmark bus attacks. Heavy checkmark school attacks. Heavy checkmark assassinations of leaders. Hashtag checkered flag ending. The war ended in 2009, but thousands of families still carry the trauma. Final message, ***. These wars teach us one lesson. The real power of this world is not weapons. It is humanity. If we fail to understand history, then history will return and teach us the same lesson again, written in blood and tears.